Good morning. Today is Friday, December 31st, 2021. We live as Jews by our Jewish calendar. Following our Jewish calendar is an integral part of our identity and our lifestyle. And today is the 27th day of Teves, 5782. This coming Monday is Rosh Chodesh Shvat, the beginning, first day of the Jewish month of Shvat. So, how do we, as Jews, relate to celebrating New Year's Eve and New Year's Day tonight and tomorrow? There are some important sources in Jewish law that would indicate that recognizing New Year's is problematic. The main source actually comes from the Ramban Nachmanides in his commentary to next week's Torah portion. Next week's parsha is the parsha of Bo. And in that parsha, we have the first mitzvah that is commanded through Moshe to the entire Jewish people, where the Torah says, God tells Moshe to tell the Jewish people, HaChodesh hazeh lochem rosh chodashim, this month, meaning the month of Nisan, in which Pesach occurs, HaChodesh hazeh yeh lochem rosh chodashim, this month, in which Pesach occurs, the month of Nisan, should be for you the first of the months of the year. Now, we understand from that is a mitzvah telling us that we generally follow a lunar calendar. We talked a little bit about that last night. But the Ramban says, in addition to that, it is a mitzvah, it is a requirement to refer to Nisan, the Jewish month in which Pesach occurs, as the first month. The next month is the second month, and the third month is the third month, to refer to all the months by number, starting with the month in which Pesach occurred, because by doing that, we are always referencing Pesach all year long. Whatever date it is in relation to Pesach. So we are paying tribute and recognizing the fundamental aspect of the creation of the Jewish people at Pesach by referring to all of the months in their relationship to Pesach. First month, second month, third month. And we see this in the Torah, that in the Torah itself, the only way the months of the year are recognized is by number. The first month, the second month, the seventh month, etc. According to many authorities, commenting on this passage in the Ramban, that means that we should not use secular dates, but we should only use dates on the Jewish calendar, because that's the way that we will constantly recognize the primacy of Pesach and pay tribute to it, and we certainly should not celebrate dates on the secular calendar like New Year's. That's a reason that there's a problem with celebrating New Year's. On the other hand, there are a number of commentators who point out that while that is the comment of the Ramban Nachmanides, but it is not mirrored by many other authorities. It's not mentioned, for example, in the Rambam Maimonides in his Code of Jewish Law. It's not mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law. And if, in fact, we were to refer to utilize the Ramban as normative Jewish practice that is required of us, we ought to be referring today to the Jewish months as the first month, the second month, the third month, like the Torah does. But in fact, we use these other terms: Nisan, Iyar, Sivan. We're now in Teves. Monday starts Shvat. Those names are not in the Torah itself. Those names actually come from the time when the Jews were exiled after the destruction of the first temple to Bavel, to Babylonia. They originated in Bavel, in Babylonia. In fact, in a couple of places in the later works of the Torah, for example, the book of Esther, the Torah will, the Megillah will say, Megillas Esther will say, the 10th month, which is the month of Adar, etc. So the fact that we commonly refer to this month as Teves, next month as Shvat, the month of Pesach as Nisan, does seem to indicate that we are not following at least precisely what the Ramban himself says, that we have to refer to the months by number. There is, however, an additional reason to find it problematic to celebrate New Year's Day specifically, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And that's because, according to, for example, Maharam Shik and other important commentators, that is a date that is based on a calendar system based on a different religion, based on Christianity. And recognizing the dates as the Christian calendar does, based on their religious beliefs, would seem to be a prohibition, a violation of the prohibition of following the practices of other religions, in this case Christianity, which is a significant problem. However, on the other hand, there are likewise a number of scholars who point out various reasons why using the secular date and the secular year does not violate this prohibition. Just to give one example, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, the great Sephardic authority of the previous generation, who had such an encyclopedic mind, lists numerous places among classical normative Jewish commentators, scholars, who do make use of secular dates and years. So, the conclusion of all of these sources is that while it is preferable to use Hebrew dates, it is permitted to also make use of secular dates. And therefore, the bottom line is there is no prohibition to marking New Year's tonight and tomorrow. But the real question is, how do we mark it? And this question applies whether it falls on a weekday or it falls on Shabbos, as it does tonight and tomorrow this year. Certainly to celebrate New Year's by excessive drinking, letting go of normal behavior, wild parties, that is not within the Jewish spirit. It's not the right thing to do, aside from the issues of COVID that apply this year in particular. But to celebrate the day with Hakaras Hatov, gratitude for the blessings we received last year, and to think about improvements and wishes that we have for the coming year, that in fact is very appropriate. Allow me to share with you a fascinating piece written by Rabbi Jonathan Sacks in December 2008, titled, referring to New Year's Day, "Count Your Blessings and Begin to Change Your Life." And Rabbi Sacks suggests that we should use New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, to have resolutions. And here are some of the resolutions that he suggests that I heartily recommend. Number 1, make a resolution to try, bli neder, without making an oath, that once a day in the coming year, you will take a moment of quiet time to feel gratitude for what you have. And especially today, when it is so easy to focus on what we do not have and what we cannot do, it is even more important to take a moment at least each day to focus on what we do have and the blessings we do enjoy. Another idea we should try to incorporate within our lives in the coming year: catch someone doing something right and praise them. Say something to them. It's so important to appreciate the good things that people do, because so often they are unappreciated. If we just make it our business to be in the habit of recognizing and appreciating good things that we see, it'll make all the difference in the world to them and to us. Rabbi Sacks' next suggestion is to commit to spending more time with our families. Now, I recognize some of us may feel that we're already overdoing that just a little bit, and I can certainly understand that under certain circumstances. I personally don't have that feeling, but I can relate to those who do. But what I would say for us right now is that it's not just the quantity, but it is the quality. And to make sure that every day we're spending at least some time with our families with no distractions, celebrating each other's companies, is crucial, because happy marriages and healthy families need dedicated time spent with each other. Another suggestion: take a moment out once in a while to ask yourself, how can I best use my gifts? What would I wish for others to have said about me? Why am I here? To take a moment once in a while to think about, what do I hope to achieve this year? Another idea that is so important: make a commitment this year to forgive someone. Forgiving someone is good for them, and it is even better for you. And lastly, keep learning. As long as we keep learning, we stay alive and vibrant and flourishing. So I suggest to you, and I suggest to me, tonight, Shabbos, tomorrow, Shabbos, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, spend a few minutes with these thoughts, and you will help ensure that you will have a very happy new year. So I want to wish you a very happy Shabbos and a very happy New Year's. My friends, have a great day, a beautiful Shabbos, and I look forward to seeing all of you soon in person.